Again, time called me here to stand in front of you. So, in the second year, the syllabus curriculum which has been provided in biology, it was stayed by botany teaching teachers and zoology teaching teachers. And recently we have received CBSE syllabus, they have constrained, they have reduced some 30% of the syllabus. In that 30% of the syllabus, some of the botany topics which are taught by botany people and some of the zoology topics which are taught by zoology people has been reduced. So for NCERT, for PUC, we have not received yet so far whether it is reduced or not. For CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, they have already announced. According to that standard, we will not be having lessons like plant breeding and first lessons, that is reproduction in organism, strategies for enhancement, that is plant breeding and animal breeding, both will be there. After that, we are going to teach the last parts, that is ecology, two lessons, two chapters we are going to deal, botany people, that is ecosystem and environmental issues. So environmental issues and ecosystem they have removed, and they removed plant breeding, they removed first lesson. So microbes in human welfare will be the topic for the last according to the reduced system. If it is not reduced, we have to teach some 4 units, 4 chapters, that is ecosystem, environmental issues, plant breeding, and first lesson, that is reproduction in organisms. So in the course of sequence, we have started sexual reproduction in plants as a first unit or first chapter for this academic year in the month of April 20th onwards, and we have completed sexual reproduction in angiospermic plants. We have completed molecular basis of inheritance, which is called molecular biology, and after that we have started biotechnology principles and processes, we have completed. After that, biotechnology applications we have started, and with the biopiracy we have completed biotechnology applications. So fortunately or unfortunately, we are taking only from our side botany classes in the biology. Zoology also will be started soon. Yesterday sir has come, and again he may continue his class tomorrow onwards because of disturbance. Today he was absent. So for that purpose, I am going to take this class. So if tomorrow if he comes, he will continue, or otherwise I will continue 2 or 3 days to complete this topic, microbes in human welfare. So in the textbook, it comes under 179 page number, and 10th chapter it is considered as. After this, we have finished biotechnology principles and processes, biotechnology applications. Before those two, we are having this. As a matter of fact, we used to teach this lesson in the last season of the completion of the syllabus, that is in the month of October or November. Generally 6 marks are there compulsorily which are going to come from this unit. 6 marks, one 5-mark question compulsory and one 1-mark question compulsory, and there is a possibility of asking 3 questions in any competitive examinations because number of numerical examples are here, and every year they have been asked continuously, every year in the NEET examination or in the CET examinations, in the previous examinations like AAPMT, AIMS and JIPMER, AFMC, almost in every nation level competitive objective oriented examinations, this lesson has its own impact of 3 questions. Each question carries, if you write correct answer, 4 marks, 3 into 4, 12 marks you are going to get from this lesson. So microbes in human welfare, on the surface of the earth, there are 3 biological components, three major biological systems. So three major components of biological systems. So surface of the earth is made up of abiotic and biotic, living and non-living. So all those living are called biological components. And these biological systems, how many types of biological systems are there? They were categorized into three types. Those three types are plants, animals, and microbes. These two comes under macroscopic organisms. These are called microscopic. So as a matter of fact, my dear students, the first sentence in the textbook, page number 179, there are three components, major components in the biological systems on the surface of the earth. Three major, all these three major, among these, based upon their size, they were called macroscopic. Macro means without the use of any instrument to see them, or without the use of microscope, or we can see them nakedly with our eye. So we can see the plants, we can see the animals, which includes human beings also, various types of plants, animals, which are larger in their size and they can be easily visible to human eye. Whereas microscopic organisms, they were also major components. These are microscopic. Why they were called microscopic? Because we cannot see them with our naked eye. If we want to see them, if we want to visualize them, it requires microscope. Why? Because their size. What are microscopic organisms? If a question comes like this, so you can give many options, many answers. What are microscopic organisms? You can give examples, or you can give various kingdoms from where microscopic organisms, Monera or Protista or fungi. But the correct answer for microscopic organism, micro or microscopic organism means the organism which has a size less than 0.1 mm. All those organisms, you mention it in the book, in the corner or in your notes. All those organisms whose size is less than, various sizes are there, different. Generally a microscopic organism, and to visualize we have to resolving power of the microscope, we have to increase their size in terms of 1000 times, 10,000, 50,000, 1 lakh times, 1,50,000 times to see them larger and larger under the microscope of various configurations. So the first sentence, on the surface of the earth there are three major components belongs to biological systems, and those are plants. So in the textbook, how they, besides macroscopic plants and animals, in the textbook sentence, besides macroscopic plants and animals, microbes also considered as. So the understanding the sentence in various forms, various ways. Now question comes, to which groups these microscopic organisms belongs? Where do these microscopic organisms are found? Microscopic organisms, microbes are present everywhere. So the term microscopic organisms or microbes are present everywhere. Every man throughout the world, it's not that. Plants and animals throughout the world, tropics, subtropics, temperate zones will be. Here, everywhere means ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means everywhere. Here, ubiquitous or everywhere indicates soil, water, air. So, they were present in or on soil, water, air, plants, animals, and human bodies either inside or outside on the surface of the plant or inside the plant body. Endo, ecto, inside the animal body, outside the animal body, inside the human body, outside the human body. So, microscopic organisms are present everywhere. It indicates this sentence. They are present in the soil, they are present in the water, they are present in the air, they are present in plant body or inside the body, animals and human. And also microscopic organisms are having surprising characteristic feature that microbes present in some sites or places where no other living organism can live. Here in the textbook, microbes are present in those sites where no other could possibly be exist. No other possibly exist. No other organism could possibly exist. Underline that sentence. It means the regions where microscopic organisms are living, in those regions, no other organism can live. So, where no other organism cannot live, in such regions also, microbes are living. Assertion and reason, my dear students. Such regions are some regions are the areas are the sites where no other life could possibly exist. Exist means present, life. So, examples, extreme conditions of thermal vent. Thermal vent means hot water, where water is heating more than 100 degrees, even more than at least 100 or even more than 100 degrees, like geysers. Hot water 100 degrees centigrade or more. So, no living organism other than this microscopic organism can live above boiling point of water, above the boiling point of water. So, no body can exist there, it will evaporate. Even though microscopic or see amazing characteristic feature, surprising thing is microbe means it is such a small organism you cannot see, then how its body is able to withstand to such temperatures. That's why microscopic organisms can live in those sites or areas where no other organism could possibly exist. And deeper layers of soil. So deeper layers of soil means there will be no air. There will be no air at all to live. A living organism should have, should possess, should get respiration for its purpose. So extreme deeper layers of the soil, they can exist. Several layered, several meters thick layers of snow. So they were found in extreme. Snow means completely cool, minus degrees. Several meters thick layers of snow under, beneath, under several layers beneath. So here snow is several meters thick layers. Under these thick layers also it is. So extreme hot conditions, that is thermal vents, extreme cold conditions, and extreme conditions of deeper layers of soil, several meters thick layers of snow, and some microscopic organisms are able to exist. Acidic environmental. So acidic environment will burn, it will denature the structure of any organism. Acidic conditions, even though in acidic environmental conditions they are able to survive. So these are the four. It is better if you make a note 1, 2, 3, 4, easy for your understanding to answer example oriented questions. One of the following is not the area where bacteria can grow. One of the following is not the area where fungi. Like that they may ask questions. Give examples of some extreme conditions. Give an example of a particular microbe. Further your studies which have given in first year syllabus, and they have given in 8th unit human and health diseases, human health and diseases. So it is the interest that generate in the body of the student to get answers for such questions while listening or while watching the textbook. So these are the areas where they live, and these are the extreme areas where they can live. Then questions. So microscopic organism means which are having size less than. So in the classification of living organisms, which is 5 kingdom classification, under which groups, under which categories, or under which kingdoms these microscopic organisms comes under. Microbes comes under, belongs to diversified groups, maybe protozoans, some protozoans. So protozoans are microbes. Question, assertion and reason. Statement type of all protozoans are microscopic organisms. Few more protozoans are. In protozoans, both microscopic and macroscopic organisms are existing. Choice is yours. Protozoan is that group where microscopic organisms are existing, available. Bacteria are microscopic organisms. Fungi, microscopic organisms, some, like that. Plant viruses, tobacco, mosaic, you might have studied in the earlier previous classes. Plant viruses, another type of microscopic organisms. Viroids, another type of microscopic organisms. Prions. So what are these? We know protozoans, bacteria, fungi. What are these viroids? What are these prions? Infectious agents whose body is made up of nucleic acids. Nucleic acid containing pathogens. So in their body, there is no protein. Generally, every organism body should be made up of proteins and nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are DNA and RNA. And our DNA and RNA should wrap around the histone proteins or non-histone proteins. But these are the organisms proteins are absent, only nucleic acids are present. They have not mentioned this, but they mentioned here. These are proteinaceous infecting agents, pathogens. So their body is made up of only proteins, no nucleic acid at all. Prions are those organisms, microscopic organisms, whose bodies are made up of only protein. There is no nucleic acid at all. Protein itself is infectious, causing diseases, pathogen. So make a note of this in the textbook, in that paragraph. So microscopic organisms are those organisms which are microscopic, indicates that with the help of microscope only we can see them. With naked eye we cannot see them. And various areas where they live, ubiquitous everywhere, extreme areas, and various groups, diversified groups in that paragraph, to the best of my knowledge, my dear students. Next, they have given some of these microscopic organisms, they have given examples in the form of diagram in page number 180, and they have mentioned basically bacteria, fungus, fungi and viruses. Some of these microbes like bacteria and fungi some of these microbes like bacteria and fungi can be grown in culture media, nutrient, NUTRIENT, nutrient culture media. So whatever food they require, whatever food they want, we are going to grow them in those culture media. Microbes like bacteria and fungi can be grown in nutrient culture media where they multiply enormously and develop colonies. Now, whenever a particular microbe is growing in the culture media, we can see them because of their enormous number, multiply enormously and develop colonies, bacterial colony, fungal colony, develop under these conditions. When they develop colony under these conditions, we can see these colonies by naked eye. If you develop a chromogenic substrate, fungal colonies appears green or pale green in color, whereas bacterial colonies appear blue in color. We have studied already in the textbook. They have given two diagrams in page number 180. Below two diagrams they have given one bacterial colony. They have given petri dishes. This is a petri dish. In the petri dish, culture medium is there. In that culture medium, we are having white colonies. They have shown in the textbooks. This is nothing but so many thousands, millions of bacteria may be present here. Bacterial colony. When we open the petri dish upper part, you can see this, a box-like structure. Whereas they have shown fungal colonies are growing in the culture medium. Fungal colonies. various types of fungal colonies. So Petri dish, Petri plates, where we can identify by the enormous number of these colonies. So in a colony, suppose if you see millions of bacterial cells, microscopic organisms may be present. Now, when we have seen various microscopic organisms are there, these microscopic organisms are present in various environmental conditions where no other organism can exist, and microscopic organisms can be seen with naked eye when they were grown in a particular culture medium where they will develop into colonies. Now, in the next page, that is page 181, first part, we have studied about microscopic organism. In 8th chapter they have mentioned human health and diseases. In human health and diseases, they explain various microscopic organisms that can cause harmful activities on the human body or cause diseases in human, not only human but also in animals and plants. With this statement it is clear that microscopic organisms are generally causing harmful effects on plants, animals and human beings. Disease causing organisms, pathogenic, virulent organisms. So the notion microscopic organisms are harmful, but to the best of the knowledge, it could not be think or thought like that all microscopic organisms are not harmful, but all microbes, assertion and reason, my dear students, all microbes are not having harmful activity. Especially some viruses, some microbes are there which are useful activity and produce beneficiary things, products for human welfare. So the concept of the paragraph is, as we have studied in our earlier classes or in earlier subjects, in earlier chapters, all microscopic organism means harmful, pathogenic. This notion is not correct. All microscopic organisms are not harmful. Several organisms, microscopic organisms, are useful. They were able to produce various products for the service of human being. So how microscopic organisms are used in the welfare of human society, we are going to watch. Microscopic organisms in human welfare. And when we are going to study microscopic organisms are used for human welfare in various ways, microbes helps human welfare in various waste in the preparation of household products. First concept is microscopic organisms or microbes are used, the useful activity for the betterment of or for the welfare of human society. How they are useful in our daily life? By producing household products. In daily life, they produce useful products. Especially production of food, production of traditional drinks, production of various types of, we will see. Second one, microscopic organisms are used industrial production of useful products. So here industrial production means industry, large scale production of useful products. What are those large useful products which are produced in large scale for the benefit of the human being? Let us take beverages and antibiotics. So microscopic organisms are used to produce useful products on large scale in the form of industrial scale, industries for the betterment of, in the formation of beverages like alcoholic drinks and antibiotics, various types of antibiotics. Third one, after knowing all these, we will see one by one. Microscopic organisms are used in the production of enzymes, organic acids, bioactive molecules. So microscopic organisms are useful in the production of enzymes of various natures, various chemical reactions, and organic acids for human consumption or human utilization, bioactive molecules which are responsible for the therapeutic treatment of various diseases. Microbes are also useful in the treatment of wastewater, treatment of sewage water. So how industrially the everyday life of human society, whatever waste water is going on, whatever waste in the form of drainage systems, it has to be purified. Without purification, we cannot pass this water into the water bodies. So the process of purification of wastewater is called wastewater treatment or sewage treatment. Specialized devices are there which are called sewage treatment plants, and the process is having a system. Treatment of sewage water. Microbes are used in the production of biogas. Biogas from the living organisms' bodies, from the dung, waste material which is dropped out as a fecal matter from the animals. From that, we are able to produce useful biogas which is used as fuel or for lighting purposes in village. So there is no need of electricity separately. gas production. Microbes are used as used as biocontrolling agents. So biocontrolling agents, the agents which will control the human activity. Here it indicates that for the purpose of insects or for the purpose of pests to get rid of from the plants during agriculture, human being is adopted usage of fertilizers, agrochemicals. These agrochemicals are, whenever they were sprayed on the plants, crop plants, they will indiscriminately, without judging which is good and which is bad, they will kill all the useful and harmful insects. So here our motto is to kill the insects or pests, but here useful honeybees or butterflies are also killed. So but without using agrochemicals, we have to use biological methods. So what are those microscopic organisms which are used as biological weapons to control the pathogenic plants, pathogenic organisms is called biocontrolling agents. Lastly, microscopic organisms are used as fertilizers, biofertilizers. They are used as biofertilizers. So, my dear students, there are these 7 topics. These are the 7 topics. In all these 7 ways, various ways, 7 ways, microscopic organisms are responsible to help the human society. It is called microbes in human welfare. Household products, industrially beverages and antibiotics, production of enzymes, organic acid, bioactive molecules, wastewater, sewage water treatment, production of biogas, biocontrol agents, So as I said in the beginning of this class, there is a chance or possibility of any of these in the form of a 5-mark question. So in the above 7, any one they will ask as a 5-mark question. Write a short notes on the process of treatment, biogas production. Mostly they used to ask these questions. And sometimes they may ask, or it cannot escape the, and so each and every, we cannot say that which is good or which is very important to understand, to study for the examination. No, everything is important and every sentence, as we have seen now, is important to study, to prepare for the competitive examination like NEET. Let us see household products, how microscopic organisms are used. Household products, first one. In these household products, first product, preparation of curd. From milk. So, curd in our daily life, everyday's life, it is the food material which is taken by the human populations. So, how milk is converted into curd? In the formation of curd, it is the most important, a process of fermentation which happens here, the process known to human world since times immemorials. Hundreds, since centuries, curd has been produced from the milk by the activity of microscopic organisms. By the activity of some bacteria called lactic acid bacteria. By the activity of some bacteria called lactic acid bacteria, milk is converted into curd. How, sir? When little amount of curd taken as inoculum, small amount of inoculum. Inoculum means which is dropping into. Inoculum into fresh milk after heating at particular temperatures. This inoculum consists of millions of bacteria. Lactic acid bacteria. Under some optimum temperatures, means specific temperatures for that organisms to grow. Under some optimum temperatures, they multiply, means they grow in the milk. While growing, when little amount of curd taken into the milk, put in the milk as inoculum after heating at a particular temperature, inoculum consists of millions of lactic acid bacteria, and they will grow. For their growth, they require some temperatures. Under these temperatures, when they were multiplying in the milk, they will develop and produce lactase enzyme. Especially the Lactobacillus acidophilus. Lactobacillus acidophilus is the name of the bacteria which shows fermentation of milk into curd. Lactobacillus, so this is present in lab. Lactic acid bacteria are nothing but Lactobacillus acidophilus. They will produce lactase enzyme. Lactase enzyme act and convert the sugar lactose of milk. So in the milk there is a sugar called lactose. Try to understand this. In the milk, the sugar called lactose. And this lactase enzyme work and convert this sugar lactose of milk into lactic acid. So the concept is, whenever milk is there, in the milk sugars are present which are called lactose. Whenever lactic acid bacteria like Lactobacillus acidophilus is dropped as inoculum, it produces the enzyme lactase and it will react with that and convert the lactose into lactic acid. That is the concept. This lactic acid reacts with milk protein, casein, and partially degrade it degrade the protein. It means lactase convert the lactose into lactic acid. Lactic acid in the milk along with lactose sugar, proteins are there which are called casein. So this lactic acid work on the casein and partially degrade, not completely. If it completely degrades, water will come out. Whenever it partially degrades, it causes coagulation of milk. Coagulation, it means semi-solid, not completely water, not completely milk. So coagulated form is nothing but, so reacts with milk protein casein and partially degrade protein. It causes coagulation and milk converted into curd. So the coagulated form of milk protein or partial degradation of milk protein by the lactic acid. How lactic acid is produced? By the action of lactase on the lactose of the milk. And all this is nothing but the activity of bacteria, which is called Lactobacillus acidophilus, lactic acid bacteria. During this process, the coagulated form is nothing but curd. And when compared to milk, curd is better. Curd is better than milk. Why? One of the following. Curd is better than milk because it has nutritional value vitamin B12 and also the bacteria present in the curd checks or stops the growth of other microbes enters into our body. If you consume curd, it is better than milk because it is having nutritional value. It is fight against the other microscopic organisms which are inhabiting our body. Curd anti-mutagenic property. Anti-mutagenic property. It means it cannot cause mutations. Curd consists of anti-cancerous biochemicals. So basically nutritional value B12 and curd is better than milk. How? It completely removes the lactose. It removes lactose. Why? What happens? Lactose, if present in the milk, it is allergic to some human beings, some people, not everyone. So it is better for those people. Removes lactose from milk, which is allergic to some people. So first household product is curd, which is converted from milk. Milk is converted into curd by the activity of microscopic microorganisms, and several other properties are there. Other household products, we will see curd first A, B.
idli dosa preparation. Let us make a note. In the next class we will see. Traditional drink toddy preparation. Bread preparation. Cheese preparation. Various traditional foods like sausages. So we will see all these in the coming classes one by one. First one, household products, and household products, first one is curd preparation. Second one, idli dosa preparation, how they were useful. Traditional drink toddy preparation, in the bread preparation, the cheese preparation, various traditional foods preparation. So whenever you are opening this 10th chapter, page number 179 and 180, 179 and 180, 181, see the diagrams. They will ask diagram oriented questions also. After that, see that paragraph, it is not completed, only one paragraph I am able to complete it. All the best.